Welcome to the Ingerati studio. Mr. Jouke Eikelboom, Managing Director of the European Network for Cybersecurity. That's quite a mouthful. What are you doing at European Utility Week?
What we do here is talk to the people in the business, in the smart grid business, because our organization is there, the objective is to raise the security bar for critical infrastructures. And as you know, electricity is a critical one. And we see the developments in these smart grid developments as a situation where more information technology is put in there. And that comes with risks as well. If you connect that to the internet, and you can read it almost daily today with viruses and break-ins basically by hackers on whatever system. So if you put information technology on these critical infrastructures, you have a security risk as well. And that's what our mission is, to raise the security bar for critical infrastructures.
What would you say is the biggest worry?
Well, the biggest worry is, if you look at critical infrastructures, you talk about smart grids, industrial control systems. And I always compare it, if your computer at home doesn't work for a couple of minutes, or you have to reboot it, that's not really a problem, it's annoying. But if you do that in an industrial control system, you really can get in trouble there, because it needs seamless information and correct information to operate. So there's a big risk there in the development of that. And we are in the early stages of this in some of the critical infrastructures, which is the smart grids. And we have to make sure we build the right architectures and the right defenses in these systems so that the lights will not go out. So.
And who are you speaking to here?
It's mainly DSOs and vendors, and DSOs are the network operators, the asset owners as we call them, but also the vendors who make the products for these asset owners to run their systems.
What do you think are the biggest challenges?
Well, the biggest challenges is, I compare that to the banking sector, which already is years struggling to keep the hackers out. And of course, money transfers, that's very interesting for criminals. But if we look at the other critical infrastructures, like the electricity sector, where you work with these systems who need continuous flow of information and correct information, if you have a break in there, that's a very difficult situation to solve. That's the area we work in. Give you a couple of examples. For example, data traffic monitoring, which has been done, for example, in the banking sector, is not done at all at the moment in the electricity operators. And that will come if information technology, if you connect all these systems together, then you get these problems there also. So we really need to work on it now for the coming years to make sure that our populations have electricity, water, etc., and all the critical services we supply to our populations.
Are there certain regions in Europe that you are more worried about than others?
Not really, not in the area we work in, because I said we are in the beginning of the development of these type of things, where we connect more and more together. So it's basically, if you look at the network operators of the electric grid, they are all basically in the same position. Some of them are a little bit more ahead than others. And an important point here is also where we play a role, is to raise the awareness. And the awareness is not there yet, because this is a developing system, as I said. But the awareness, for example, in the boardroom is critically important. It's one of the things we try to do, to get this awareness in the boardrooms. And think about it, make sure if you change your smart grid or you're moving to your smart grid, that you make sure you look at the security aspects.
Now, everything has a price tag, and security sounds expensive. Who will foot the bill at the end of the day?
Well, that is one of the things. That's why I actually said it needs to be in the boardroom, because it's not for nothing. But on the other hand, if you're being hacked as an electricity company, you have to go to the 8 o'clock news and tell them, hey, the lights are out, sorry, somebody broke in here and now you don't have any electricity, and you didn't do anything about it, then I think you're in trouble. So there are strategic risks for companies. And let me remind you, we have an example here in the Netherlands, which was another type of critical infrastructure. That was the whole case with DigiNota. They had certificates. They were running certificates for the security certificates for the government, and they are out of business because of somebody broke in their system. So there's a strategic risk, and that's what I mean if you talk about boardroom awareness, CEO awareness, that you have to think strategically to make sure that you do something about it before you're in the 8 o'clock news.
Is the industry listening to you? Are they serious about this?
I think so, because if you look at even the last year, you see more and more news on companies being hacked. Actually, one of the companies here on this exhibition, and I will not mention the name, was hacked a couple of weeks ago, big time, which has a lot of consequences for the company itself. And there you already can see that the awareness is growing. But I also know that in some companies there is no awareness at all.
What are your impressions of the event?
I think it's a great event. I was surprised by the number of people here in the event. It's more than I think we expected in the organization also. So it seems that in the energy transition, which is about renewable energy, using solar panels, windmills, etc., use that in the grid and how do that in an operational way, but also in a secure way, which is actually on the table here. So a lot of companies are involved in that. And that's a good thing to see, that we have all this interaction on Metering Europe.
Because more and more you see security as a topic.
I think it is, yeah. I think just look in the news again. If you see that happening, it will be on in the headlines for the future also, unfortunately. So we have to do something about it.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.